My top picks for April. Stay tuned. Keep reading. Hi, Terry Gillespie, and welcome to this month's Keep Reading Top Picks of the Month. And I can't wait to tell you about these books. I am so excited. There's so many books that are out there that I just don't have enough time to read them all, but maybe you do. But anyway, these are some good books to get started with. So let's do that. So my first book is my lead book. And for those who haven't watched before, the lead book only means that I will be featuring this author in my A2A interviews, which will be for May. And so Nicole Deese will be my featured author. And I can't wait to interview her. I've never interviewed her before. So after reading this book, I'm really looking forward to it. So are you familiar with Nicole Deese? I wasn't. So I loved this book. So I have a feeling I would like anything she wrote. So anyway, let's find out a little bit more about Nicole. So Nicole Deese's humorous, heartfelt, and hope-filled novels include her 2022 Carol Award-winning novel, All That Really Matters. Her novels have also been finalists for the Carol, Rita, and Inspi Awards. When she's not working on her next contemporary romance, she can usually be found reading one by a window overlooking the inspiring beauty of the inland Northwest. She lives in small town Idaho with her happily ever after hubby, two towering over her teen sons, and one princess daughter with a heart of a warrior. Idaho is so beautiful. I've been through there several times. We had friends in Montana, and when we lived in Seattle, you go through Idaho. So anyway, this is published by Bethany House, and it released last week. So, and it released in hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. Now, this book, The Words We Lost, is book one of the Fog Harbor romance series. And I can tell you, I finished the book, and there are lots of really interesting characters in this book. So I'm looking forward to seeing who she focuses on in the future books. So this is the summary of her new book. After Ingrid Erickson jeopardizes her career, she fears her future will remain irrevocably broken. But when the man who shattered her belief in happily ever after offers her a sealed envelope from her late friend, Ingrid is sent on a hunt for a hidden manuscript and must confront her past before she can find the healing she's been searching for. So if you can't tell, Ingrid Erickson is an author, and her friend who passed away is a writer. So I'll give you a little hint on that. All right, so I'm going to read the first sentence of the book. I know, cardinal rule not to do that, but I can't help it. And it's got I love it when publishers just do something a little extra. I always like that. All right, here we go. Every tap, tap, tap of my editorial director's blood-red fingernail against her ceramic coffee mug feels like another second closer to the death of my career. Yeah, I'll end up reading it again. It was so good. Um, this is the first book in the Fog Harbor. It's Bethany House is releasing this in hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. So if you like crying in books, if you like those tear jerkers, this is one. I left some reviews on Goodreads and Amazon and BookBub and all those other places. So if you want to find out a little bit more without any spoilers, be sure and check out my reviews on this book. But I am so excited about interviewing her in May, and it'll be May 3rd. And she'll be giving away a book. So stay tuned. All right, next book. Tracie Peterson. Wanted to say an old reliable, but I don't like calling Tracie old, but her writing is always reliable. How about that? So this is book one in the Pictures of the Heart. And if you've been reading contemporary Christian fiction for any amount of time, you've probably heard of Tracie Peterson. But if you haven't, here is her author bio. Tracie is an award-winning author of over 100 novels, both historical and contemporary. And even though I love her historical, I love her contemporary. I really do. Her avid research resonates in her many best-selling series. Tracie and her family make their home in Montana. Aha, another Northwestern. And I have to say, I love her daughter, Jennifer. I haven't seen Jennifer in years, but she is a sweetie pie. So this book was published by Bethany House in hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. And this is book one in the Pictures of the Heart series. So, and there's some pretty interesting characters that are in here that I have a feeling she'll be focusing on in future books. But here is the summary. Haunted by heartbreak and betrayal, Addie Bryant escapes her terrible circumstances with the hope she can forever hide her past and with the belief she will never have the future she's always dreamed of. When she's reunited with her lost love, Addie must decide whether to run or to face her wounds, to embrace her life, her future, and her hope in God. Okay. Oh, by the way, this was released in March, so you may have already seen this in your bookstores. And if you didn't pick it up, got to pick it up. All right, so we're going to read. Yes, I did tell you it was Bethany House, didn't I? Okay, and by the way, all of that great information, the author's website, where to purchase their books are all going to be down in the description section. So be sure and check that out. And what I generally do is I will generally put the publisher's link, because the publisher's link will 99.9% of the time have all of the retailers' links to where you can buy your books. So if you have special deals through different companies like Barnes & Noble or Amazon, you can pick and choose which one you want to go to. So it's kind of handy. I just found that out. It took me a while to find that out. But anyway, okay. So I'm going to read from the prologue. This is Dawson City, Yukon, in June 1902. Adeline Bryant, or rather Mormon, is it Mormon or Merriman? I don't know. If it's German, it's Merriman. Since she had been forced to marry Sam Merriman last year, tried her best to sleep. So she was forced to marry somebody. That tells you there's a real story going on here. Okay. Remember Me, book 1. Next book. Another reliable. Irene Hannon. And this is Windswept Way. I don't know if you can see it very well. Is that better? Windswept Way. Beautiful cover. This is from the Hope Harbor series, and it's actually book 9. I didn't know that. So I missed all the other ones, Irene. Fortunately, there'll be one more. There'll be a 10th one. And even though it was the 9th book, there was very little times when I felt like I was missing something. So it was kind of nice. It was very, very standalone-ish, even though it was a part of the series. So do you know Irene? If you haven't read her before, you're going to love her. And you can still start with this book. If you want to start with book 1, that's fine too. But you can start with this book. So here is a little bit about Irene. Irene is the best-selling and award-winning author of more than 60 contemporary romance and romantic suspense novels. In addition to her many honors, she is a 3-time winner of the prestigious Rita Award from Romance Writers of America. She is also a member of RWA, which is Romance Writers of America, Elite Hall of Fame, and has received a Career Achievement Award from Romantic Times Book Reviews for her entire body of work. Pretty cool. Now, Revell published this, and it's in hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. So you have your choice. So here's a summary of the book. Buying a supposedly haunted house wasn't in Ashley Scott's plans, but when an intriguing opportunity drops into her lap, she's ready to launch a new life. But she can't do it alone, and a reclusive new neighbor, Jonathan Gray, may be just the person to help, if only there were room in his life for romance. Now, Jonathan has his whole story, which is pretty amazing. So she has some really unique characters in her book, and you're going to love it. Just love it. So here's the first sentence of the first page. Maybe buying a haunted house wasn't her best idea. Yes. So another great book by Revell. Another one. Love it. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to do this without crying. Oh, by the way, this released April 4th, so it's already out, so we don't have to worry about that. And this one released last week. So now this is written by Stephen James. It's called Broker of Lies. And if you think his name sounds familiar and you're wondering why, since I generally 99.9999% of the time will choose from the Christian book market. So if you're wondering why Stephen James is in that category, well, he crossed over into the Christian publishing. So he is now published by Tyndale, and this released last week. I think I said that. And it's in hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. And Stephen James was like a best-selling, award-winning author of all sorts of mysteries and legal thrillers. And I started reading him before he went over to Tyndale, and he was with a regular ABA publisher. My sister, who was a paralegal for the St. Louis prosecutor, she said, "Terry, you got to read Stephen James. You just got to read him." And so I got hooked on him. And some of you have heard the story of my sister who passed away a few years ago, and she was an avid reader. And I would take her to Christian writers conferences because she got to meet all of her favorite authors, and the authors loved her because she wasn't an author, she was a reader. So she was very popular at a writers conference. So I really miss her. She was my buddy on my writing journey. So this is one of the authors that she loved. So, and of course I love him now too. I love his books now. So Stephen James is the best-selling, critically acclaimed author of 18 novels that have won more than a dozen national and international awards, including 4 Christie Awards for suspense and an International Book Award. His thrillers have been praised by Suspense Magazine, Book List, and the New York Journal of Books, and received starred reviews from both Library Journal and Publishers Weekly, who have called his work thought-provoking and riveting. When he's not writing, he teaches other writers at events around the globe. Now, I think some of his other books, at least one of his other books, was made into a major movie, I think. I'll have to look that up. Okay, so this is book 1 in the Travis Brock thrillers. So here's a summary of this book. The man who knows all our secrets has a secret of his own. When Travis Brock, a high-level Pentagon redactor with an eidentic memory, which means it's essentially a photographic memory, finds a clue to solving the tragic arson that took his wife from him, he risks everything to find the truth and chances losing himself in the process. When a terror attack looming on the horizon and a pair of assassins on his trail, Brock drops off the grid and joins forces with a disavowed Homeland Security operative. Together, they race to stop the attack before Brock is neutralized by the people he trusts the most. Yeah, it's a page turner. It's a page turner. So, chapter 1, first sentence. Well, first, Providence Memorial Hospital Burn Unit, Washington, D.C. Zoe Hughes eyed the door. He's in there? Was there a Nope, there was no prologue. Okay. It's really good. It's really good. Okay, so it was released last week. It's Tyndale, hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook, and all of that stuff is down in the description section. Okay, next book is by Cindy Morgan. Now, does Cindy Morgan, that name sound familiar? Well, it should. She is a singer, 2-time Grammy nominee, and a 13-time Dove winner, and a recipient of the prestigious Songwriter of the Year trophy. Cindy is the author of 2 books of adult nonfiction, and this is her debut, The Year of Jubilee. This is her debut novel. So she's jumping into the fiction pool to join us. Welcome, Cindy. So this was published by Tyndale, and it actually comes out. Yes, it came out yesterday. How about that? And it came out in hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. So I just started reading this book, and it really is good. Not that I had any doubts, but it does everything. Okay. So, I have to tell you, one of the endorsements is by Amy Grant. An intimate and fascinating portrait of the times, a story told with empathy and compassion. The Mockingbird family has always lived peacefully in Jubilee, Kentucky, despite the divisions that marked their small town, until the tense summer of 1963, when their youngest child, Isaac, falls gravely ill. Middle sister Grace, nearly 14, is determined to do whatever it takes to save her little brother. With her father and mother away at the hospital, Grace is left under the loving but inexperienced eye of her Aunt June, with little to do but wait and worry. Inspired by a young teacher's mission for change, she begins to flirt with danger and with a gifted boy named Golden, who just might be the key to saving Isaac's life. Then the unthinkable happens, and the world as she knows it shifts in ways she never thought could have imagined. Grace must decide what she believes amid the swirling, conflicting voices of those she loves the most. Gotta tell you, so far in the book, it really has kind of a feeling like, it's interesting that the character's last name is Mockingbird, because it kind of reminds me of To Kill a Mockingbird, and just the way that it's written. I think I'm going to go ahead and not do the prologue. I think I'm just going to do the first chapter. And this says, Constance. The minute I saw Miss Adams, I was keenly aware of my lingering 8th grade awkwardness. My nails bit down to the quick, and my clothing meant for comfort instead of fashion. That gives you a real picture of our protagonist, little Gracie. I shouldn't say little, she's 14. But it's beautiful, just beautiful. All right, so the final book is The Secret to Happiness, and it's the Cape Cod Creamery, book 2. I've been waiting for this. This is written by Suzanne Woods Fisher, and I always like her covers. I wrote a book about the sweet rivalry, and I wanted something like this. Very simple and very delicious. Okay, Suzanne Woods Fisher is an award-winning best-selling author of more than 30 books, including The Sweet Life, The Moonlight School, and A Season on the Wind, as well as Three Sisters Island, Nantucket Legacy, Amish Beginnings, The Bishop's Family, The Deacon's Family, and The Inn at Eagle Hill series. She is also the author of nonfiction books about the Amish, including Amish Peace and Amish Proverbs. She lives in California, and down below you're going to learn more with her website. So this is another Revell, and it came out in hardback, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. Now, this one actually will not release until May 2nd, but that doesn't mean you can't order it. And I highly recommend pre-ordering books, because a lot of times there are special deals and there's special giveaways and all sorts of other things that happen when you order the book early. And just for the fact that it also helps the author as well in her book sales. So just saying. Okay, now it does say on a lot of the web outlets that there's only 2 books in the series, but at the end of this book, there's a little teaser for a book 3. So I'm wondering, Ravel, is there going to be another book? I sure hope so. I really do. Okay, so Suzanne's book summary, The Secret to Happiness, starts with Callie Dixon set her goals and reaches them. So how did this executive chef end up in a small ice cream shop on Cape Cod, sharing a room with her cousin and refusing to set foot in the kitchen? It will take the charm of a young boy and his quiet, steady father to help her find the answers and maybe the secrets to happiness. I really did love this book. It really was good. I think I finished it in 2 days. I started it in the afternoon and finished it the next day. All right. Oh, what's really cool is it has a glossary of popsicle making. Now, when they make popsicles, I mean, they kind of look like fudgesicles, but the way they described it, man, they don't seem like just regular popsicles. Let's see here. All right. Chapter 1. The cold never bothered me anyway. Elsa from Let It Go in Frozen. Penn State Ice Cream School, State College, Pennsylvania, which, by the way, is a real place. Friday, January 21st, which blows me away that you're going to be in northern Pennsylvania in the wintertime. The irony. Okay, I'm going to read the second sentence. 2 months ago, Callie Dixon had been executive chef at one of the largest convention hotels in Boston, a hotel so highly esteemed that the Food Safety Conference chose to hold their annual meeting there. You can kind of get the idea from the summary in the back. Something happens at that conference. Okay, so those are my 6. I said Ravel, right? Ravel. Okay, so that's it for this month. I hope they'll find 1 or more of these books to check out. I hope you'll try all 6. So thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you'll come back again next month. In the meantime, keep reading. God bless, and I'll see you next month.